Boindil strikes up song during your hike. A short while later, Bavrigor joins in. But rather than actually singing along, he tries to outdo Boindil with his own songs. When he finally strikes up a love song, Boindil becomes absolutely livid. You take the stonemason to one side and ask him if he's doing it on purpose.
Of course I'm doing it on purpose. I'm gonna make him suffer the whole journey.
Can't go on like this. We can't fight amongst ourselves and save Girdlegard.
You take a short break before you dare breach the roots of the problem.
It's to do with a woman, right?
Not in the way you might think. Smeralda was my sister, a young thing of only 40 cycles.
Bavrigor takes a large swig of his liquor before he continues.
She was almost as belligerent as Boindil, and she got it into a blockhead to stand by him in battle. A bad decision.
You can see the pain he is suffering in his eyes. You place a hand on his shoulder and put him under no pressure to carry on. The constant bickering between Boindil and Bavrigor distracts you. Goimgar hears the clanking of armor first.
Something's coming!
Before you know it, the orcs are charging towards you over a hillside.
As good as that! On my way! On my horse! As good as that! On my way! Go! Yeah?
Yes?
Huh? And what now? What is it? What is it?
Huh?
Yes?
Yes?
Yeah? And what now? Another one follow the dust. What is it?
And again. Yes?
Oh, he didn't hit you very hard! Pow! Another one bites the dust! And what now? Yes? Disgusting. Who's next?
He put up
Another
a
one
fight.
bites the dust. Oh, he didn't hit you very hard. Too easy. Oh, he didn't hit you very hard. Who's next?
Uh-huh.
Take it first, Nutty.
He hardly put up a fight.
Oh, he didn't hit you very
Your
hard.
horses, all right.
Too easy.
Slowly, slowly.
That's good done. On my way.
He hardly put up a fight. Away you go.
As good as done.
Vile creature. Kill.
What is it? What is it? Who's next? Oh, he didn't hit you very hard.
Put up a fight.
Too easy.
A bit too much for you, was I?
Huh?
Take it first, Nutty.
Yes.
Yes.
Pow! Another one bites the dust. Who's next? Yeah! Yeah! Ha-ha! All right,
Away you go.
What's up?
on my way! As good as done! All right.
Yes.
On my way! Who's next? Too easy!
He hardly put up a fight.
Hold your horses, all right.
Who's next? And what now? Oh, he didn't hit you very hard! As good as done! All right.
Why not?
On my way! All right.
Kill.
As good as
Why
done!
not?
All right. And again. As good as done. On my way! As good as done! On my way! On my way! As good as done! On my way! Understood! As good as done! Understood! As good as done! On my way!
Yes, yes, so!
As good as done! On my way! As good as done! On my way! Oink, oink, little piggies! What is it? Vile! Disgusting! Understood. And again. Huh? Yeah?
Yeah! Don't take it personally.
Who's next?
A bit too much for you, was I?
Of
course! Disgusting.
That was refreshing. Hey, here comes some more. 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6.
5 or 6? Oh, phew. He means 5 or 600.
Goimgar turns white as a sheet.
That's too many. To the city. Come on.
You flee towards Mifadania, with Goimgar out ahead. The orcs at his back seem to have mobilized unimagined powers in him, and he reaches the gate first, hammering manically against it. He says something and scurries through a small gateway that has been opened to him. Moments later, you also reach the gate.
Get in, quickly!
You push your way through the gate as the first orc arrows slam into the wood next to you.
The other dwarf said we should bolt the gate behind him, but we could use all the help we can get when the orcs come.
That treacherous sissy, where is he?
Boendal and I will look for him. Boindil and Bavragor, help the city guards in any way you can.
You were certain the two of them wouldn't be much help in the search for Goimgar. Weyen is well known for its love of the written word. Some of the scripts on offer are known to you from Lot Yonan's library.
The fabulous Rodario.
Cometh, dear spectators, cometh and see! Let the Theatre Curiosum, with its star actor, the fabulous Rodario, the mysterious Nomora, and the genius Magister Technicus, Fergas, carry you off to another world. Now see and hear, dear spectators, the truth about Nudin the Knowledge Lusty, who disposed of the other Magi in a most horrifying way and plunged Girdlegard into disaster. Girdlegard, it will be mine.
Lot Yonan?
When you murdered Frala and the others...
To your horror, you realize that you can no longer talk. You feel a lump in your throat, and your eyes begin to burn, as images of the vaults and Cyntharas appear in front of you.
I see that my first strike really hit you, Groundling. Oh, how they screamed. If only you had been there to help them.
What do you want with my rucksack? If you're looking for provisions, you could have just asked me nicely.
I'm not interested in what's in the rucksack. I only know that the Lord of the Perished Land wants it. So he will have it.
Your master doesn't tell you much by the sounds of it. Either he doesn't trust you, or he's in the habit of not talking about his business with servants.
You feel the blade cutting into your skin, and you take it as a sign of a small victory.
This way! Was that an elf?
If we're quick, we'll get that long ear yet.
Alarm! Alarm! The orcs are attacking!
Come, we must defend the walls.
On my way! As good as... On my way! As good as...
What is it?
Yes?
Of course!
Oh, he didn't hit you very hard. Too easy.
Understood.
Yes. Pow! Another one bites the dust. Don't rush me. I'll be ready. Yeah! He didn't hit you very hard.
And what now?
Kill!
On my way! Who's next? Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Very good. We're able to stop them. Simple as.
You wish it weren't so. But it is clear to you now that the city can no longer be saved.
To the side gate. It's our only chance. Yes?
Yes, all right. On my way. Yes, winner. I didn't hit you very hard. On my way. As good as this. Yes, on my way. Another one bites the dust.
It's locked. We have to open it somehow.
Perhaps we can be of service, gentlemen.
Step aside.
Are you thieves?
Certainly not. We are artists. People with extraordinary talents. Say, friends, as you clearly mean to leave Mifadania too, would you have anything against us joining you?
The fabulous Rodario.
Oh, an admirer of my skills? Who would have thought it? I am indeed the one and only fabulous Rodario. This worthy gentleman here is Fergus, the best Magister Technicus since human thought. And last but not least, the enchanting Namora, whose beauty makes the mayor's roses wither in envy. Perhaps we should discuss the rest when we are out of this mess.
We have a long and dangerous journey ahead of us. I don't think you really want to join us.
An epic and dangerous journey? That sounds like an adventure. And anyway, I have already seen that you know how to handle those weapons of yours. In these dangerous times, a big travel group offers the best protection, don't you think?
I don't know,
The orcs are still surging through the gate and over the wall. You decide that this isn't the right time for discussions.
All right then, let's go.
Let's get out of here. We'll be safe with the firstlings.
The firstlings. The splendor of their halls is said to be unrivaled. And I have heard they have fascinating contraptions, Fergus, that are almost reminiscent of magic.
It's open, let's go.
In the evening, after your escape from Mifadania, you recover from your exertions around a campfire. Goimgar withdraws to a solitary corner. Bavragor devotes himself to his alcohol. and the twins get their smelly dwarf cheese out. Nemora and Fergus exchange hugs and kisses on the other side of the fire, while Rodario sits next to you.
Ah, a journey with real dwarves to the stronghold of the firstlings. I'm sure I can write that into my new piece.
I must congratulate you on your skills. Find it hard to believe that it's not achieved by magic.
Aha, thank you, but I assure you it has nothing to do with magic. Just alchemy and accomplished acting. We leave the sorcery to the magi.
Don't mention them. There's no love lost on Andakai and her working iron tower.
You've met Andakai the Tempestuous? That is unbelievable. How was she?
She ran away to the Outer Lands. A damn disgrace.
Adakai had her reasons to leave us. She had already fought against Nodon and was unsuccessful. Furthermore, we wouldn't be here without her, and she told us about Keenfire.
Andakai, the bringer of hope. I like that. I'll have to use that in my new piece.
True to his words, Rodario takes out his notebook and writes something down.
We're far enough away from Mithridania. Perhaps we should part ways tomorrow morning.
Rodario jumps up and begins to gesticulate ostentatiously.
I think you have underestimated us. Let me introduce myself and my colleagues once more. I am the Fabulous.
We don't have time to look after a pack of jesters.
Rodario seems offended for a moment, but then he grins, turns away from the group and raises his right arm. A jet of flame shoots out of his sleeve. The dwarves are startled and amazed by the brief spectacle.
And what do you say now, critical Mr. Dwarf?
You're a Magus. I don't particularly like them either.
At the Curiosum, magic is my area of responsibility. There is a tube under his arm with a flint and a bag full of Lycopediella seeds. When he firmly presses the bag, the flint sprays sparks and the seeds shoot out. And there you have it. Magic fire.
Masterly work, Fergus.
The Magister Technicus shows his appreciation with a nod of his head.
If they all have tricks like this up their sleeves, well, they might not be such a burden after all, Tungnil.
How are you doing for provisions? We don't have enough.
We are happy to share what we have. It isn't very much, though. We had to leave most of it behind.
Food is sure to be a problem on our journey. Winter's only just beginning to leave Wayan, and people will be keeping a tight grip on the stocks they do have because of the orc attacks.
We have to be frugal and organize as much food as we can. It wouldn't be much of a heroic story if we starved on the way to the firstlings.
Do you know anything about the firstlings? If I recall the map correctly, we need to cross the first large mountains in the Red Range and then pass through Snowdale to East Ironhald Stronghold.
No one has seen the firstlings for hundreds of cycles, but there are many stories about them. Their craftsmanship is much vaunted, and there used to be trade via a narrow path that led into the mountains. But I don't think there is a man living now who has ever walked that road.
Our mission is to forge the legendary axe Keenfire and destroy the traitor Nodon. If you wish to accompany us through hunger, coldness, and danger, then do so. It's your decision.
How could we not partake in such a story? Just think, what a wonderful play we could make of it.
If we survive. I was hoping to only resurface once we reach the Red Range. Instead, we have a long journey and a dangerous climb ahead of us.
There may be another way apart from the old trading route. A few years ago, an old man from the north told me of a place called Wackenstein. Apparently, there is an old path there, older than the dwarven tunnels themselves.
Legends and stories. There's too much uncertainty. Let's just see what the next few days bring.
The all too familiar stench of tallow and grease reaches your nose. You know what this means.
What's up? Huh?
At your service?
Yeah, why not? Of course! Yeah, why not? Yaha!
Kill! And again! Huh?
And what now?
Vile creature!
Your demise was inevitable.
Why not?
Away you go!
Disgusting. Who's next? Don't take it personally.
He hardly put up a fight!
Why not?
Away you go!
Of course! Yaha! Who's next? Yaha!
Kill!
Yes?
Oh,
What's up?
Over there! And what now?
Understood.
Why not?
Huh?
Yeah!
Huh?
aye.
put up a fight!
Kill!
Yeah!
What's up?
Your demise was inevitable.
A bit
I understand.
Was I?
On the way.
Slap.
Understood.
I understand.
On the way.
Slap.
Understood.
With you.
Choice.
What is it?
Aye.
Huh?
Yeah!
Of course!
Slap.
Excellent choice.
Huh?
Yes?
Aye.
Kill!
He hardly put up a fight!
And again! Understood.
Oh.
Huh?
I understand.
What's up?
Vile creature!
Don't take it personally.
What is it?
Aye.
Understood.
With you. Of course!
Understood.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah!
Disgusting.
Yeah! And what now?
Aye.
On the way.
Too much for you, was I?
Well fought.
Understood.
Or not?
With you.
And again! Kill!
Or not?
Who's next?
Vile creature!
With you.
Understood.
Or not?
Patience, I'll be ready soon.
Don't
He
take
hardly
it
put up a
personally.
fight!
Kill!
Yeah!
What the hell were those things?
Goimgar carefully pokes one of the dead little creatures with his sword, as if he fears it'll jump up and attack him.
Have you never defended your past, Simmerbeard? Those are Bognalim. Small, ugly, stinking, cowardly. Sound like anyone you know?
Goimgar looks angrily at Boindil and is going to reply, but Namora speaks first.
They are like little orcs. They are even more primitive and make up for their physical weakness through their sheer numbers. They live in caves all around here.
While the others talk about Bognalim, you examine a decorated ox skull that the orcs had with them. It wasn't made by them, and somehow looks valuable. You pocket it. You are walking past an inconspicuous copse as Namora suddenly stops on the spot.
Wait! We are not alone. Someone is watching us.
A trap?
Die, scum!
What are you doing? Why are you attacking us? We're dwarves too. We're on the same side.
I see honest dwarves here, but they are accompanied by scum. I will free you of it.
Oh, really? And what are you going to do on your own against 8?
You, come here.
What? Ugh!
Brother! What are you doing?
Boindle, what's wrong? Come to your senses!
It's no use. They belong to me. Now die, scum.
All right then.
What?
Eh?
Well?
Friends, I could do with some help.
Damn it! How many more of them are there?
I'll be ready again soon.
Yeah?
What's up?
I'm doing it as quick as I can, all right?
What is stupid then?
What is it?
Ow! Hey!
Swift and quiet.
Why not?
On my way.
Why not?
Yes, soon.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Hold them back.
No sooner does the unknown dwarf fall unconscious to the floor than her control over your comrades disappears. You fetter and gag her until you know more about her sinister powers.
That was, I hope I didn't hurt you, Scholar.
It was as if in a dream, but at the same time, it wasn't. I heard her voice in my head, and although I knew better, I only saw orcs attacking me. You were the enemy.
Boindil goes over to the shackled dwarf and kicks her gently with his boot.
This is never a child of the smith, even if she looks like one. Those gifts. By Vrakas, there is something evil at work.
You kneel in front of the dwarf and press your axe against her throat.
My name is Tungdil. If I remove your gag, will you answer some questions?
The captive nods, and you pull the gag out of her mouth.
Geralda is my name. It would seem I underestimated you.
Your powers, I've never heard of anything like it.
Neither have I. I haven't had them for long. When I try to remember, all I see is black mist, and I taste iron and mud, and there's an elf who...
Did the Alfar give you these powers?
When I try to remember, it hurts. Like needles sticking into my head. I am Geralda Bloodstone. I was...
You said something about scum when you attacked us. Has Namora done anything to harm you?
Not her, but her kind. Alfar.
She is a human. She only acts at being an elf in theatre.
In the theatre?
For the first time, Geralda looks at Namora without a hateful expression.
She must die.
Where have you come from and what brings you to Wayan?
I was on my way to the Free Folk. They are said to live in the middle of Girdlegard, without kingdoms or their laws.
The Free Folk? You mean dwarves?
Yes, dwarfs who have left their kingdoms, voluntarily or otherwise. Not everyone has a place in their kingdom.
You instinctively think of your own plight. You are not a secondling, and won't be welcome among the fourthlings since you placed obstacles in their king's path.
Don't believe this nonsense, Scholar. The Free Folk are just a fairy tale that people tell themselves when they don't want to stick to the traditions. Just look what good it's done Geralda.
Geralda prepares to reply, but then she holds back.
Enough talk! She is dangerous, probably crazy. She attacked us, we should put an end to her.
It's what you call amnesia, memory loss, a tool often used in stage productions. We don't know what happened to her, and maybe she doesn't either. We can't just kill her.
She's too dangerous just to let go, so we'll take her with us. Remove the fetters.
You nip any objection in the bud and turn to Geralda.
Listen, don't know what has happened to you, but we are dwarves and we shouldn't fight against one another. We could do with your help.
The female dwarf seems just as surprised by your decision as your companions.
Thank you. I would be happy to accompany you. I am Geralda Bloodstone, of the Fourthling Kingdom. I'm sorry that I attacked you. It was a misunderstanding.
You realize that your decision doesn't please everyone. Boindil and Namora seem particularly upset. But they hold back, and you continue on your way, a slightly gloomy mood hanging over the group. Your path leads you to a small fishing village on the banks of Lake Ontario. The villagers are busy and don't pay you much attention, apart from a fisherman on a boat who nods at you before returning to his nets. You can just about make out a jetty on the other side of the lake.
Excuse me, my name is Tungdil. Can you ferry us across to the other side?
The fisherman looks across the lake to the jetty on the other side, before turning back to you.
Oh, you're polite. I like that. Samuel is my name. I'll ferry you across for 10 provisions or 20 gold, whichever you prefer.
Not at the moment, thank you.
Oh, well, no skin off my nose. If you change your mind, you know where to find me.
You spend the night protected from the wind in a ruin, and are sitting around a campfire as the topic of your new companion's performance on the stage comes up.
Sleight of hand, speed, alchemy, and makeup can have an incredible effect. Namora transformed herself into an elf using the latter.
I also noticed your weapons, Namora. I've never seen such swords before.
Their names are Crescent and Sunbeam. I designed them myself. It took a long time until I found a smith who was able to make them.
She looks like a pointy ear too. Nature hasn't been kind to her.
For this absent-minded remark, Boindil receives evil looks from Namora and grins from the men.
Perhaps I really am an elf, and will bring you a nightmare in your sleep tonight. Don't be surprised if you wake up screaming.
For a moment, it seems as though she has merged with the darkness, but when you blink, everything is back to normal.
By the gods, isn't she magnificent in her role?
There is no denying what Rodario says. The group isn't overly friendly towards Geralda, and this evening she's sitting once again apart from the others. You ask yourself what you can do to break the ice when you see that she has a phial in her hand. The phial is wrapped around with silver wire and has a snap lock. The liquid in it is black. Geralda opens the lid and takes a big swig. As she puts down the bottle, a smile flits across her face, followed by a short expression of deep satisfaction. It is the first time that you have seen a positive emotion on the face of the somber dwarf.
Is that medicine?
No, it's... I don't know either. If I don't drink it, I have a longing for it. It gets stronger and stronger until I can't stand it anymore. When I drink it, the longing disappears, and I feel rested and strong.
And when the phial's empty?
I don't know. I don't know where I got the drink from, let alone what it is. But if I don't drink it, Frackers, give me strength. I think I would go crazy or die.
Geralda plays with the phial, lost in her thoughts, as if she were trying to remember where she saw it for the first time. As on the previous evening, Bavragor sits apart from the others. But tonight, he waves you over.
Smeralda, my sister. You want to know what happened, right?
You nod and sit down.
She followed Boindle into battle. We tried to talk her out of it, but she was as unyielding as a mountain. Then came the day when the High Pass was attacked.
Bavragor drinks from his liquor.
He killed her. Blinded by the frenzy of battle, he thought she was one of the enemy. I can never forgive him. He killed my sister. Could you?
You inevitably remember the loss of Lot Yonan, Frala, and her children. You remain sitting in silence, each of you deep in thought. Boendal approaches, having either heard you or guessing what you are talking about.
His fierce life forge is a curse. He thought the orcs had robbed him of his love, and the ire came over him. Sometimes he calls her name in his dreams. Oh, he'd never admit it, but he suffers just like Bavragor. He too loved her.
The stonemason doesn't react, so you and Boendal go back to the others by the fire. The size of the fields and the farmsteads grow as you get closer to Varenciensis, the old border city in the north. The old city wall is much too small for the size of today's settlement. Everywhere little cottages, and even the odd magnificent estate, extend beyond the wall.
Varenciensis. This city is home to the Grand Archive. There are countless works from all over Girdlegard here. I wonder whether we'll be allowed to go in.
You try to gain access to the city, but the guards on the wall are unyielding. The Orc armies in the south and the movement of the Perish land has prompted the city council to lock Varenciensis up. You try not to show your disappointment, but Boindil looks at you curiously.
Is a house full of dusty books really that important, scholar? That's no place for a dwarf.
There are also books by dwarves and about dwarves in that archive. They've practically got everything that has ever been written. They've even got notes on the races of Girdlegard, singularities and oddities, by M.A. Het.
A book about dwarves? That really can't be any good at all.
You leave the impressive city of Varenciensis behind you and continue on your way. The familiar jetty is empty, but you can see Samuel.
So, we meet again. You want to get across to the other side,
Not at the moment.
Oh, well, no.
A two-storey tavern sits on the corner of a crossroads. The snow around the building has been cleared away, and a warm light is coming from inside. The sign above the door reads, Minstrel Castle.
Minstrel Castle? That sounds promising.
The old building has nothing in common with a castle. It seems rather nondescript. A simple tavern for simple people.
Finally! Time for ale! My throat is completely parched.
As much as I hate agreeing with you, I too can hardly wait.
You enter the tavern with Bavragor and Boindil in front. On first impression, the interior is as inconspicuous as the outside. But when you take a closer look, you spot a couple of paintings of minstrels in front of a castle, a small stage that, judging by the dust, is only very rarely used, and a lute hanging on the wall behind the bar. There are not very many guests on the ground floor, perhaps a dozen, and most of them belong to a group of mercenaries who have retreated into the far corner. You sit at a table, and after a while you are brought the ale that Boindil has ordered. You go to the bar where the landlady is working and sit on a stool. The landlady, a stout, middle-aged woman with long hair tied in a ponytail, looks up briefly but says nothing.
Say, why is the tavern called Minstrel Castle? It doesn't look much like a castle.
Oh, you don't know the legend, dwarf.
One of the guests next to you at the bar takes up your question.
There was a castle here once. No one knows its name anymore, so everyone just calls it Minstrel Castle. Once upon a time, a king lived in that castle. He had many subjects and an enchanting queen. But one day a young minstrel came along and sang of wonderful far-off lands, and the subjects began to complain about their own lives. So the king sent for the singer to hear for himself. He came and sang a wonderful love song, and the king began to be scared. He thought that the minstrel wanted to steal away his queen. Without flinching, he drew his sword and struck the boy down. His father heard of this. He was himself a singer, and so he went to the king and played a terrible song, a curse. The king was to vanish in silence, and no one was to remember his name.
And that's what happened. No one remembers the name of the king or his castle. Make of it what you will. The story's certainly well known enough in the area to give Arin its name.
You nod at the landlady as you slip off the bar stool, and she nods back. Bavrigor and Boindil, who are absorbed in a drinking competition, have to be practically dragged out of the tavern. But in the end, you are able to continue your journey. When you enter the pretty little village with its richly ornate houses and its temple to Palandial at its centre, you can see an angry mob some distance away. The villagers are hassling a young woman, insulting her and pushing her to the ground. A man dressed richly confronts the woman.
Have you no shame? Robbing a temple of Palandial?
The crowd cheers and many vociferously demand that the woman be hanged.
You could have helped us, but you didn't. Is that in the spirit of Palandial?
You step out of the crowd and confront the priest.
What evidence do you have against this woman?
We found the granary broken into. Almost a third of our grain and a significant amount of supplies have gone. And all this just one day after she and her people were snooping around here.
That isn't proof. It could simply be coincidence. Anyway, why would a thief come back to the scene of a crime?
The priest eyes you in silence, while some of the villagers make it clear that dwarves should keep their noses out of their business.
Tell us what happened.
The villagers grumble, but the priest gives the woman a chance to defend herself.
My name is Tavia. I was forced to flee Tabayin with my family when the perished land began to spread. My husband, we had to leave him behind.
The horror in the woman's eyes gives you a good idea as to what became of her husband.
No one accepted us in the north. There are too many refugees and everyone is scared. Queen Wei has offered land in Wayan to anyone who will work hard for it. But what should we grow if no one will sell us grain? We offered a fair price, but Father Malin...
She darts a scathing gaze at the priest.
He wanted double the amount.
The priest glances briefly at the angry villagers. Then he replies in a firm voice.
It was a hard winter, And with the increasing frequency of orc attacks, we must think of ourselves first and foremost. Even we cannot help everyone.
The bystanders mutter in agreement.
The accusations are serious, so let's get to the bottom of the matter to be completely sure.
We have no doubt that she did it.
The priest looks at the villagers standing around him, the lust for blood written in their faces.
On the other hand, before we do something we can't undo.
Dissatisfied murmuring grows, which the priest debates with mollifying gestures.
Search for your evidence. You there, lock this woman up in the guardhouse in the meantime.
The woman is taken into a squat building made of rough blocks of stone. The crowd slowly disbands. The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not.
I was wondering, what was here first, the temple or the village?
Ah, a keen eye. The temple is indeed much too big for such a small village. It was built on the foundations of an old stronghold when salt was found nearby. The village has grown over the years in the shadow of the temple. Good people live here, honest and pious children of Pilandio.
He glances at the place where the woman was surrounded.
Why can't we just be left in peace?
Supposing Tavia really did steal the grain and supplies, but only to save her family, would you turn a blind eye?
Pilandio teaches generosity, but that too must have its boundaries. We cannot help everyone. At some point there won't be enough for us.
So, if you had sold the grain, the people of Seaton would have starved?
Maybe not. Not yet. But if we always give everything we have away...
No one is saying always, and no one is saying everything.
The priest shrugs his shoulders apologetically. He doesn't wish to spoil things with his flock. You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture. You enter the village's large storehouse. The ground floor of the two-story building is full of turnips, with large barrels and clay pots on the floor and on high shelves. Several villagers are carrying out stock-taking. They're being supervised by a weedy man who observes them with a grim expression and writes things on a wax tablet every now and then. Work is in full swing. The man with the wax tablet grumbles now and then in agreement when one of the peasants shouts out a number to him. It shouldn't take too much longer until they finish the inventory. There are sacks piled up on top of one another on the first floor. They are most likely filled with different kinds of grain and, judging by the omnipresent white dust, flour. You walk towards the only area in the storeroom where you can see the floorboards. You hesitate as your boots slip on the floor, as if you're walking on mud.
Tongue deal.
The Magister Technicus carefully observes the roof beams above the empty corner. He grabs at a beam and crumbles something between his fingers. You can't make out what it is, so you copy him and feel damp, rotten wood. It's very easy to pull away small pieces.
What are you doing here?
The man with the wax tablet is standing on the stairs. He sounds half angry, half shocked.
No one is allowed in here.
The rain has gotten here. The roof and the floor are damp.
Those savages! It wasn't enough that they steal from us, they had to damage the roof too! That was probably where they got in.
The wood didn't start to rot yesterday, good man.
The steward's face turns bright red.
And you are the experts on such things, are you?
Assuming the roof here has been leaky for a long time, what would have happened to the grain in the sacks directly underneath? Wouldn't it have turned rotten?
The man wets his lips. His gaze darts around the room.
The roof was fine. I'll have it repaired. And now, get out of here!
The steward angrily blocks off all further attempts at talking to him, and even when you threaten him with Father Malin, it doesn't have the desired effect. The father trusts in him, he says, and he's always been a devout follower. The heavy door of the storehouse closes behind you, and you hear a bolt sliding into place from the inside. You enter the guardhouse, and before the guards know, Boindale and Boandal have caught them up in a friendly conversation. Shielded from the view of the guards, you exchange a few words with the suspect without being disturbed.
Where have you taken the grain and supplies?
I don't know anything about grain or supplies. Apart from the fact that we could do with both, I'm telling you, I am innocent!
Why did you come back to the village?
I wanted to negotiate with Father Malin for the grain. What else could I do? No sooner had I arrived than they surrounded me and accused me of robbery.
We won't let anyone do anything to you, but if we are going to help you, you will have to tell us the truth.
The woman looks you in the face, then her head sinks, and when she looks back up, she has tears in her eyes.
Please, I just want to go back to my family. I don't know what happened.
Tungdil.
You feel sympathy towards the woman. You raise your hand to silence Rodario and nod to the woman to continue talking.
We asked for grain and were full of hope when we saw the well-filled granary. But we hadn't reckoned on the malice of the people here.
A slow, ironic clap sounds from behind you. Confused, you turn around to face Rodario.
Bravo, my dear, with tears and everything. Tough luck that a master of the art of acting is present. None of what she said corresponds with the truth, Tungdil. She is lying and trying to deceive us. Not completely talentless, for an amateur.
You expect the woman to deny everything, but when she overcomes her amazement, she spits in the actor's face.
And what if I am? I would do it all again. The people here have more than they need, and my people are starving. Is that fair?
Spit it out. Where are the spoils and your people?
I'd rather die than tell you that.
The woman looks at you determinedly, and neither of you blink.
Why did you come back here after stealing the grain and supplies?
We didn't steal 'em. We paid for 'em. A reasonable price, just not to Father Malin.
You had help?
He promised us 3 dozen sacks of grain. When we opened the sacks in our hideout, we realised that most of the grain was rotten. He thought he'd get away with it.
The woman looks around wearily.
And by the looks of things, he has.
Morris the steward offered you the grain, didn't he?
What does that matter? I've no proof it was him. And even if I did, if I admit that we have the stuff, I'll be hanging from a tree by this evening and my children will starve. I beg you, let me go. We bought the grain and the supplies. Perhaps he wasn't allowed to sell it to us. But we paid. And with a little seed we can sow, at least some of us have a chance of surviving the year.
can I trust you? You lied.
Who wouldn't do everything to offer their children a future? Lying is the very least.
You've stolen, no matter how you put it. But perhaps Father Malin will show clemency if you return the grain.
Clemency for me and a death sentence for my family. Never.
Disenchanted by the course the discussion has taken, you shake your head and leave the guardhouse. The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not.
The roof of the granary is leaky. We saw some rotten wooden planks.
Again? Morris only had the roof repaired last summer.
Did he? If he didn't, some of the grain would have got damp and rotten.
Out of the question. Morris would have reported that. He checks the grain once a month and there were no complaints.
The priest has absolutely no doubt in what he is saying, often a sign that someone hasn't thought things over. You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture. You enter seat. The priest is lost. You nod good. Your path leads you once again. You enter. You go. You know, Bavra. Your path. You enter the. You go. You nod at the Bavragor and you discover some ancient ruins and an orc camp in a gorge. A small group of Bognalim is moving between tents, piles of rubbish and cages. In one of the cages, you think you can make out some movement.
They're coming out the holes.
You there! My bag! Over there! Quick! You'll have to smoke them out!
On my way!
Gladly.
Killed! Grenades! Throw them into the holes.
I didn't hit you very hard! Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Another victory!
I didn't hit you very hard!
All right, first, Nutty.
Your demise was inevitable.
Oh, kill too easy! And again, I didn't hit you very hard!
Vile creature!
Hey! And again, bit too many over here! Kill! And again! Kill!
A bit too much for you, was
Too easy! And again! I didn't hit you very hard!
Vile creature!
And again! Kill! Too easy! Pow! Another one bites the
Your
dust!
demise was inevitable.
Kill! And again! Kill!
Another
victory! I didn't hit you very hard!
Vile creature!
Yaha! Pow! Another one bites the dust! And again!
Vile creature!
And again! Too easy! Kill!
Your demise was inevitable.
Another one bites the dust! There! Just kill! I didn't hit you very hard! And again! Pow! Another one bites the dust!
A bit too much for you, was I?
Well fought. Another victory.
Very impressive, I must say. Let me out, my friends.
Oh, thank you. Have you seen Helga? Helga? Helga! Where are you?
Hello? I am Tungdil Goldhand. These are my companions, Boindil, Boendal, Rodario, Fergus and Namora, Bavragor and Goimgar.
Have you seen Helga?
No, we haven't. If you don't mind me asking, what is your name?
Call me Ensign and drop the pleasantries.
I wanted to thank you. Your grenades really helped us.
Grenades? Oh, yeah, no problem. I used them to break up boulders, but I ended up attracting these pests. Who was to know there are Bognolum around here? And as if that weren't bad enough, along came the orcs and took me ox skull. Gosh! And Helga, where is Helga?
What brings you to these parts, Henson? It's not exactly the nicest of places.
Aren't you here for the festival? The unbelievable Wackenstein Festival. My wife and I desperately wanted to see it for ourselves. The blind guardian, the statue over there, is the key. He calls people from far and wide to the festival. I finally found some information in the archives of Virunciensis as to how the guardian is activated.
Do you know anything about a secret passage through the mountains?
Secret passage? No, can't say I do. But they say that when the blind guardian awakens, then people will come to the festival from all corners of the world. Maybe they'll come from the mountains too.
If I may, who is this Helga?
Helga? Where?
I don't know. I just wanted to know.
Helga is my wife. Didn't I mention that? We came here together, but then the orcs came and she was gone. Do you think she might have gone home? Helga!
You have a dark notion of what might have happened to Helga, but as you have no proof, you'd rather say nothing.
If you see her, you'll let me know, right?
So what have you found out about the festival, Henson?
You see that statue? That's the blind guardian. You could call him the patron saint of Wackenstein. They say that when the festival begins, then the revellers heed his call from all corners of the earth. According to my research, we need 3 things to start the festival. A burning ox skull, the fire-eater bell, and vervain. I actually had it all, but, well, then the orcs came.
It should be easy to find an ox's skull. All we have to do is find a butcher.
Oh, it can't just be any old ox skull. It needs special decorations and engravings. Took me weeks to prepare that skull. Then the orcs came and took it. Must have thought it had some value.
Is it this one here?
Stone that crows, you already have it. Excellent. That is a good omen.
And what do we do with it?
Oh, that's simple. The ox skull must be set on fire.
You're not sure what kind of celebration needs a burning ox skull, but the mission doesn't sound too difficult.
Where will we find the fire-eater bell, and what kind of a name is that anyway?
Virunciensis. I tracked you down to a collector who lives outside the city in an estate on the south wall. According to the legend, the bell was mounted in a black tower. The tower caught fire. The bell fell down and smothered the source of the fire. Now, I'm sure you can work out the rest. The ringing of the bell opens the way for the blazing fire in our souls. At least that's what is written.
Virunciensis. So what are we waiting for? We'll visit the collector and...
It would be best if you went without me. I have some things to prepare here.
Vervain, doesn't that grow in Ergon? It's a hell of a long way from here.
Ha! Don't worry. I have a bag, where, just a minute. It's gone.
You lost it?
Well, lost. I mean, you know, briefly mislaid, perhaps. It must be here somewhere.
See you later, Henson.
Let me know.
If I've understood correctly, the ox skull... All right. Henson said the herbs should be burned in a bowl. This must be the bowl.